Well, hello, my baby gorillas, and let's hope that this actually is working better this time. I'm really doing my best to improve what the visuals are on this and to try and get the best thing that I can do to live stream to you guys. So let's go straight into this. This is absolutely massive. Let me just put up a description of what this is. So let's go back, make sure everything's working out. Seems to be working, hopefully. Yep, that's us. Okay, so we've now got a response back from the Tories in the middle of the coronavirus outbreak with regards to Jonathan Wong's petition for the Muslim child rape gangs inquiry or the actual report, and to have it released. So this is the actual petition that Jonathan set up, and it says here, release the Home Office grooming gang review in full. The government is refusing to release official research on the characteristics of grooming gangs, claiming it's not in the public interest. We, the British public, demand the release of the official research on the grooming gangs undertaken by the government in full. It has been revealed earlier this year that almost 19,000 suspected child sexual exploitation victims were identified by local authorities in just 1 year. Sajid Javid promised the review as the Home Secretary in July 2018, pledged that there would be no no-go areas of inquiry. I will not let cultural or political sensitivities get in the way of understanding the problem and doing something about it, he said at the time. The petition had 121,240 signatures. And it says here, Parliament considers all petitions that get more than 100,000 signatures for debate. So we've already been waiting 46 days. Okay, we've had the coronavirus, but it doesn't say in the governmental response whether or not they are going to debate this, which it needs to be debated in the House of Commons. So let's see, and let's read between the political speak what they're actually saying to us. So immediately they're dispelling any notion that potential religion that involved a so-called prophet who was raping children and had sex slaves had anything to do with this. So tackling child sex abuse is this government's priority. I don't think it is. I think that's just for the public. Any insights gained from our internal work? Now, we've just heard that Sajid Javid said we were going to find out, there was no stone unturned, that we were going to find out what this was and what the origins of this was. And now they're just not telling us. Any insights gained from our internal work will inform our future action to end this devastating abuse, including the forthcoming strategy. I see. So why do you not want the public to know what it is? Is that because you've signed up to the Barcelona process, the Union of the Mediterranean, and now the UN Compact at Marrakesh, which also had a petition with 100,000 signatories, and you didn't debate that either? You just signed it, the treaty without it being debated in Parliament. Child sexual abuse is truly horrendous crime that shatters the lives of victims and their families. The government has made it our mission to protect the most vulnerable vulnerable in our society. Well, you haven't published the report, so we don't know if you're doing that or not, if it is your mission or not. You haven't been able to call out the fact that Islam and the Prophet, he was a rapist, a child rapist. So you can't say that. You're too busy saying Eid Mubarak and pandering to people who follow a child rapist for a prophet. We will continue to work tirelessly at every level to protect children. Well, that's not what you or the Labour Party have done so far. So we're not quite convinced that that's exactly what you're going to do. Support the victims and stamp out offending. Well, there was somebody that had a motoring offence that wasn't given any compensation for being abused by the Muslim child rape gangs. Our approach is simple. We will do everything in our power to help those at risk. Well, you haven't done that, neither has the Labour Party. In fact, the Labour Party look like they have and have been alleged by the lead prosecutor for the northwest of England to have actually facilitated it, and not only facilitated it, but facilitated it and then covered it up for decades. So we all have to take that with a large pinch of salt. Help those at risk to leave offenders with no place to hide. Well, they've not been hiding. They've been doing these things in plain sight with the lack of any sort of political accountability. In fact, I think we've had people, members of the sex grooming gangs in the Labour Party, Muslim child rape gangs in the Labour Party as peers and in the police force as well. It seems to be the recruitment process these days. First, we will improve support for those who have suffered this appalling crime. Well, you haven't done that so far. In fact, I think there's people who have been intimidated by people who have been charged with this, and people who are the alleged victims have actually been intimidated by people who have been convicted. So you obviously haven't done this. This is obviously untrue what you're saying. We have increased funding for specialist local services. Well, the local services let all the victims down in the first place. The police, the social services, everybody that was connected, including the Labour Party predominantly, and the Conservatives. So you've all so this sort of we know what we've done in the past, but we're still not debating it in Parliament, and we're still not going to release the report in the first place. We increased funding for the specialist local services for victims of sexual violence from 8 million to 12 million a year. So what do these do? What do these services do? What is it that this extra £4 million is going to renovate? Are you going to go into the mosque and say, well, we know your prophet was a rapist. Can you stop raping the children, please? those affected have our unequivocal support, so we have also doubled our support for victims and survivors of child sexual abuse fund to 1.2 million. Well, that's not a lot considering there was over 1,500 victims in Rotherham alone, and not to mention the 19,000 children who are being abused just now. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. To help charities do more to help people across the country. I would suggest it's the police that need the money to actually arrest these people and lock them up. But obviously, you don't want to do that. It's taken years and public pressure just to get some of them. The second, the vile offenders prey on our children must face justice. Well, I would also suggest that there's due process here, and I would suggest we bring in polygraph tests for both the accused and the accuser to find out. People who falsely accuse people should be going to jail, but the scale and the fact that this is motivated by religion and a religious, these people are all part of the same religion, is probably why you're trying to cover it up. To the Conservative Party. The Home Office continues to support and drive improvements in the police response to child sexual abuse. Well, that's not been evident so far up to just now, has it? You're too busy locking up Tommy Robinson for reporting on it. And that was obviously internally done through Theresa May's government and the Tories. Obviously, that looked very dubious when he was locked up. We have prioritised this horrific crime as a national threat by Islam on non-Muslims, but yet we're all saying Eid Mubarak to ensure offenders face the full force of the law and provide significant police transformation fund investment to improve the police response. Well, but that's not happening, and you're not actually telling us who's actually perpetrating this, as if we don't know. The group offending must be eradicated. The group offending must be eradicated. Are we eradicating Muslims or Islam? Or are we eradicating the teachings of Islam that actually validate this type of thing? Or are we just going to poo-poo this petition and not actually do anything constructive, really? And we will continue to provide special grant funding to forces carrying out major child sexual exploitation investigations. Like they did with Ted Heath. Maybe a paedophile ring in the centre of government. Last September, we announced an additional 30 million to strengthen our mission to take down the worst offenders and safeguard support victims. So you're only targeting the worst offenders, it's not all the offenders, it's just the worst ones. Okay, that's good. Is that the ones that brand children with the letter M, or the ones that douse them in petrol, or the ones that pimp them out when they're under 16 to 100 men? We continue to look for ways to do more and are developing a cross-government child sexual abuse strategy to ensure the whole system works for victims. Well, I don't believe that for a minute. We continue to look for ways to do more and develop a cross-party child sexual abuse strategy to ensure the whole system works for victims. The strategy will set out how we will work across all sectors, including government, law enforcement, safeguarding and industry. That doesn't make sense. To stop offenders in their tracks and to help victims and survivors rebuild their lives. Yeah, we're not going to compensate somebody who had minor motoring offences. And how many people are going to get reimbursed? If there's 19,000 in 2019 alone, the amount of money, 1.2 million is not really going to go very far, is it? Group-based Muslim child rape gangs, child sexual abuse, exploitation is a particular repugnant form of abuse that has devastated a devastating impact on villages, towns, and communities where the Conservative Party have imported large Muslim populations to work as cheap labour to increase the GDP, regardless of the impact on their local communities. Oh, that's very interesting, particularly where it's gone on for years and ignored by the political elite, because but the bottom line on the GDP is more important than the actual consequences of the mass immigration that's still going on. The unthinkable crime tears neighbourhoods apart and leaves scars that go beyond direct victims. I think so. I think if you've got a rape jihad going on all over Britain and the political class has ignored it, I think then, yes, that may cause issues. And not the only place. When the Muslims, Pakistani Muslim army went to East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, they raped all the Hindu women, funnily enough, as well. So, obviously, in the Quran, to rape non-Muslims. If you look also at what happens in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and also Qatar, that having sex outside marriage and claiming you were raped, you will be punished and go to jail. You may also seek to exploit extremists may also seek to exploit legitimate concerns to sow further divisions. I see it's not the extremists that were doing the mass raping that's the problem. It's anybody who may exploit legitimate concerns because of the failure of the political class and the culpability of the political class to do anything about it. The government will continue to challenge these views and help communities unite by ignoring the problem and not actually debating it, because the political class caused the problem in the first place. Child sexual abusers come from all walks of life, which is true, that is correct, from many different age groups, community, ethnicities, and faiths, but only Islam has a child rapist for a profit and a sexual slave trader. That's the only one that has that. And who advocates raping non-Muslims or not people who are not part of that sect. That is what it says in the book, which you obviously haven't bothered reading. Abuse is abuse. Well, if a Muslim is raping a non-Muslim, then I would suggest that could be construed as what you are calling hate crimes or racism or religious rape, religiously motivated rape, or also racially motivated rape as well. So there's a number of the things that you say the government, and now Nicola Sturgeon's trying to add more classes into the hate crimes for just speaking, saying something nasty. But the rape jihad, we're just going to cover it up because we'll say that it happens in all ethnicities. I don't see many Muslim girls getting gangbanged by non-Muslims, whether there be any ethnicity. And I'm sure there'd be a lot more done than being kicked into the political long grass, as you're trying to do here with this response to this petition. We are clear that police forces may continue to investigate these heinous crimes whenever and wherever they occur, which they will reoccur because it says it in the religious book, and you're still doing nothing at a local level. This is not going to go down well when people actually see this and actually see that your response, Mr. Bojo, this is not going to go down well. And also the Home Office have the officials in the Home Office look like they've been covering up. Either that the alleged circular came from the Home Office civil servants, or it came from Jackie Smith and potentially Gordon Brown. So it could be the Home Office is covering up, just like they're trying to cover up the Muslim child rape gang report that we said that we were going to be seeing. abuse is abuse, and misplaced sensitivities must never be allowed to put any child at risk. But you're already doing that by covering up this report. So you're already putting people at risk because the state has decided not to put this in the public domain and not even to debate it. Now we've got somebody from the Bradford MP saying that they should shut up for the good of diversity, and now she's in the front bench of the Labour Party to cover up the Muslim child rape gangs. That's how much the political class care about this issue. To help end this terrible form of abuse, the Home Office has been investigating the characteristics of group-based child sexual exploitation, Muslim child rape gangs, based on their religion, where the prophet was a child rapist and sexual slave trader. What is it that we all need to get? The thing that you don't want to get is that you've invited all these people and you've covered it up, and they've got away with it, and you're allowing it to fester. It is right and proper and routine for the government to carry out internal fact-finding work as part of policy development, as we do across a range of crime threats. Well, this has been going on for about 40 years. So, and you've managed to cover it up quite well. It is right, proper, and routine for the government to carry out internal fact-finding work. But we were told that this was going to be put in the public domain. No stone would come unturned. Work as part of the policy development, as we do across a range of crimes. Any insights gained from this important internal work will be used to inform our future action to end this devastating abuse, including the forthcoming strategy. What is the strategy going to say? Is it going to say there's unacceptable parts of Islam that advocate for sexual violence against women? Our research will help us better understand. And what are you going to do about it? If that does come out, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Research will help us understand offending to help prevent these vile crimes. I bet it doesn't. And it's still going on with 19,000 people, women across predominantly England, but it's also happening in Glasgow now, that are being abused. Key findings will inform our own work action at local level, and law enforcement action will catch those responsible for this horrific abuse. But you've already let tons of people go. I think there's only been about 10 or 20 when there's been 400 alleged perpetrators. So you've obviously not bothered about, you're obviously only targeting a minority of the actual perpetrators. Key findings will inform our work action at a local level and law enforcement action to keep those responsible for those horrific abuses. But there's 3 people from Rochdale, who were convicted, who have got dual nationality. 18 months later, they've not even been deported. So that's you're not obviously doing enough. The enforcement action to keep those responsible for this horrific abuse. As part of our work, we have completed a review of existing literature. It says in the Quran to rape non-Muslims. Is that part of the literature? We have spoken to investigators, safeguarding professionals to better explore the challenges in investigating these crimes and their understanding of offenders. Well, these offenders have done it in every other country that Islam's been invited into. And because you've already signed us up to the Union of the Mediterranean, the Barcelona process, we haven't had any say in it. Just like we're not going to have a debate about this. Just like there wasn't a debate about the Treaty of Marrakesh and on fake refugees. And so you're not taking the public account or public's interest into account. Mr. Bojo, you seem like another globalist shill. As part of our work, we will have completed a review of our existing literature. We have spoken to investigators, safeguarding professionals to better explore the challenges in investigating these crimes and their understanding of offenders and victims of group-based child sexual exploitation. There's children that have died from heroin overdoses. There's children that have been taken away and killed. There was a family of 3 who were set on fire, or 2 women, I think, were set on fire. The child who was potentially a product of the child exploitation of one of the women who was killed in the fire was taken outside and left in the garden. And that guy's out now. The government appreciate public interest in the matter. Oh, do they? Oh, that's good. I think it's going to get a lot worse now. I think there'll be bigger demonstrations because of the government's inaction. The public interest in this matter shares the nation's outrage and determination to end this atrocious form of abuse. Well, you've not done anything. You've not even had the decency to debate it. You've not in Parliament. You've not released the report. And I don't think this will be the end of it. Mistakes have undoubtedly been made. Undoubtedly, you facilitated them and actually covered it up. The government, both the Lib Lab Con Party, can't be trusted on this. Mistakes have undoubtedly been made in the past and must never be allowed to happen again. It's already happening again. 19,000 people were